everyone. Today we will study about the properties of a conductor. We know what is a conductor, which conducts, right? So that means metals are conductors. In metals we know that we have free electrons which are free to move on the metal surface, right? Which form a kind of electron cloud which moves randomly in all the directions. But in case external electric field is applied, these are aligned in a direction, these start drifting in a direction which is opposite to the electric field. So for the properties of conductor, the very first property is that the net electric field inside a conductor is 0. Now why that net electric field inside a conductor is 0? This can be taken from a fact that in case there is an electric field inside a conductor, then there will be a kind of static current which doesn't happen in normal conditions, right? So that's why this indicates that we have inside electric field as 0, right? Second property is that the electric potential inside a conductor is uniform. This is derived from the fact that we have this expression dV upon dl, where this is the magnitude of the electric field. Now, if I am talking about the inside electric field, I am marking this I suffix. We know that the electric field inside a conductor is 0. So, we can keep this 0 here. This gives us dV upon dl. What does that mean? This means that dV is equal to 0, or we can say that V is constant. This is also a 1-mark question which is often asked in the board. So electric potential inside a conductor is uniform, or you can say constant. The third property is that the electric field on the surface of the conductor is always perpendicular to the surface, right? So the third property is that the electric field is perpendicular to the surface of the conductor. Now, this can be derived by drawing a diagram here. Now, suppose this is a conductor, right? And we have an electric field which is, suppose let's assume that this is not normal. So we are assuming that this electric field is oblique. So in case we have an electric field which is oblique, we will have two components. One component will be parallel to the surface and the other component will be perpendicular to the surface. If this angle is theta, then the parallel component will be E cos theta and this perpendicular component will be E sin theta. Now what does this indicate? This indicates that due to this parallel component, the charges on the surface of this conductor will experience force. Now if these will experience force, what will happen? These will start moving. And what does that mean? It will create a current in static situation, which is not possible. So we can write this in short that if it is oblique, if E is oblique, oblique means at some angle with the surface. If E is oblique, that means at some angle with the surface, right? Then what will happen? Then the parallel component of electric field, that is E parallel, that is E cos theta, will result in a force on the charges of the conductor. So if the charges will experience the force, then there will be a current. So this will result in static current, right? Which is not possible. So which is not possible. So this possibility of oblique, therefore the possibility of oblique electric field is eliminated, and E is always perpendicular to the surface, right? So I think this is clear. Let me recap this point, that if it is oblique, there will be a parallel component which will result in a force on these charges on the conductor, and which will result in static current. It will result in the charges to move. So this will result in static current, which is not possible. That's why there is only one possibility, that we have an electric field which is always perpendicular to the surface of the conductor. So this is a wrong assumption which we had assumed, right? So let's take the fourth property of the conductor. The fourth property is that the charge inside a conductor is 0, and if somehow some charge is there inside the conductor, it comes to the surface. So the fourth property is that the charges always reside on the surface of the conductor. Right? So there are no inside charges. So from where we have derived this? We know by Gauss theorem. That E dot ds integral is equal to Q enclosed upon epsilon naught. Right? We are talking about inside. So what does this sentence mean? That means that the charges inside are 0. There is no charge inside the conductor. This statement can be written in this form also. So we are talking about inside charges. We are talking about this. This is the flux. Flux according to Gauss theorem. This is by Gauss theorem. E dot ds is equal to Q upon epsilon naught. We know that inside electric field is 0. So left side is 0. So this makes it Q upon epsilon naught, and that means Q enclosed is 0. That means Q inside is also 0. So this was our fourth property. Now let's come to the fifth property, which is the electric field. The value of the electric field at the surface of the conductor. So let's take the fifth point. So the fifth point says itself, that means we have to prove that the electric field at the surface of the conductor is how much? Sigma upon epsilon naught, and it is normally outward to the surface. Or if we talk about the vector form, this can be written like this, n cap, where n cap is a unit vector normally outward to the surface, right? So for deriving this, the proof can be done like this. We consider a conductor, right? So in a conductor, we are considering a Gaussian surface which is in the form of small cylinder like this, and small cylinder is imagined such that this is half embedded inside this conductor, right? And this conductor has a surface charge density of sigma. If total area of the conductor is S and Q is the charge, then we can say Q upon S, charge per unit area, is the surface charge density. Now in the figure, I have drawn a bigger size of this small cylindrical pellet, but actually this is very, very small, such that this surface is very near to the conductor surface, right? So I can show you an enlarged form of this cylindrical pellet. So this is suppose the enlarged form of the cylindrical pellet. This is the first surface area, this is the second surface area, and this is the third surface area. So I am marking here also, this is the first surface area, this is the second surface area, and this is the third surface area, right? We know that E inside is 0, right? So by Gauss theorem, if I want to find the electric field here, we have to consider the concept of flux. By Gauss theorem, what do we know? We know that by Gauss theorem, right, we have the total flux is equal to flux due to first surface plus flux due to second surface plus flux due to third surface. And what is this here? So we have considered, assume a cylindrical Gaussian surface as shown in figure. In this figure, right? So by Gauss theorem, we have this total flux like this. Now if we look at this diagram, for using this formula for flux, we have to consider the direction of surface area and electric field. Now this is the direction of electric field. We know that the electric field is always normal to the surface, right? So this is the direction of electric field. I am enlarging this diagram here. So on this surface area, the upper lid, the direction of the surface area vector is, this is the surface area vector, right? So here theta is 0 degree. Now if we talk about this place, the curved surface, the surface area vector will be outwards. We know that if we have a curved surface like this, then the surface area vector is normally outward like this. So if we are considering this place, the surface area vector is, we are considering this as surface area 1, this as surface area 2, curved surface area. So this is ds2, so this is outwards, but the electric field here is normally outward. So theta is 90 degree, because here electric field is this way, and for this the surface area vector is this, but here the surface area vector is this, right? So this case is of 90 degree. Now here we have no electric field, but the surface area vector is this way, but electric field is 0. So what will we write here? That the total flux is equal to E dot ds1, right, integral, plus E dot ds2 integral, plus 0 dot ds3, because third surface area is the base where the electric field is 0. So this makes it E ds1 cos of 0, right? So we can keep this outside and we can integrate it, plus E ds2 cos of 90 degree, as you can see in this figure, right? So again you can integrate it, plus this makes it 0. So from here this becomes E and surface area 1 integration. We are considering this surface to be very close to this conductor. So if I am integrating for the whole, so this will give us, for the whole conductor, then this will give us surface area as cos of 0 is 1, this will be 0 and this will be 0. So this gives us E into S. We also know that by Gauss theorem we have flux is equal to Q enclosed upon epsilon naught. So this is our equation 1 and this is our equation 2. So from equation 1 and 2 we get ES is equal to Q upon epsilon naught. So this gives us E is equal to Q upon S epsilon naught. This gives us sigma upon epsilon naught. And if I want to write the vector form, we know that this electric field is normally outward. So if we are considering a unit vector normally outward, so I can say that this is the direction of the electric field. So I can write it sigma upon epsilon naught and cap. This is our derivation. This is not worth more than 2 marks. This is a board question again. So I hope this part is clear. Now the last point which is left here is, this is the application of the properties of the conductor. We are talking about electrostatic shielding. We have studied here that the electric field inside a conductor is 0, right? We know that during lightning what happens? Which one is safer? To sit inside the car or to stand under the tree? To sit inside the car is safer, right? So that means, why we are safe inside the car? This is due to electrostatic shielding. What is this electrostatic shielding? This is shielding the objects against the external electric field by keeping inside a conducting body. So if this is a conducting body, right? So if we are keeping some object inside, here the electric field is 0. So this body is protected. Similarly, if we have a car and lightning is happening, there will be charges on the car because this is a conducting body. So if we are inside the car, we will be protected because this electric field inside is 0. So this is what electrostatic shielding can be defined as protecting the bodies from electric field by keeping inside a conductor. So this is because since electric field inside a conductor is 0. Hope you understood this topic. That's all for now. Thank you.